Welcome to our main evening news. Our story tonight follows residents in the Strandhill area, County Sligo, who are facing mounting concern this week after a powerful storm Clara battered the coastline, intensifying the ongoing issue of coastal erosion. High winds and heavy seas have caused significant damage along the shore, with parts of the promenade and nearby properties once again under threat. Local homeowners and business owners say they're growing increasingly anxious as the Atlantic continues to eat away at the coastline, calling for urgent action to protect their community. I'm joined now in studio by environmental scientist Tamina Cruz. So Tamina, can you tell us what is coastal erosion?
Yeah, coastal erosion is a completely natural process. As we can see in this model here, the waves approach the beach and take sediments away from the beach. The sediments are then transported somewhere else, and usually they're deposited somewhere else. But this model also shows how coastal erosion has been increasing over the years due to climate change, because as the sea level rises and storms get more severe, and we have more and more coastal erosion, and we can see here that some of the rocks at the sand start getting exposed to bedrock as well, and just the dune systems in general get smaller and smaller because of climate change.
Thanks, Tamina. Passing over to our correspondent in Strandhill.
So we are here in Strandhill, Sligo. I'm joined by environmental scientist Tamina Cruz, talking about the hard solutions that are in place here in Strandhill. Is there any solutions which will not compromise the beauty that we have here on the coast?
Yeah, a really good option would be dune restoration, because if we can get those dunes back into a healthy, well-functioning dune ecosystem, we won't need any of that engineering methods at all, because they are natural coastal defense. They make a coast much more resilient to climate change and also provide a habitat for biodiversity. And we can achieve that if we manage the sand movement appropriately and put in more native species like this marram grass here. It has really deep roots that go deep into the sand, so it roots the sand and clays. So it's just important that people don't walk all over the dunes and step on the grass, because it'll die if you do that. And if this grass dies, like with more exposed area like this, and the wood will come blow it away. But as long as we have those dunes, we probably don't really need that much coastal defense structures.
Thanks for that, Tamina.
I'm here now in Strandhill with a local resident who's lived here all his life. So how's the coastline changed over the years?
Well, since I was younger, it's changed a lot. Places where I used to play, they've all been eaten by the sea, and other places are just on the edge now. You can see how the water has gotten so close to the car park and the footpaths. The place that used to be safe are now a danger to be in any types of windy or wet weather.
Thanks for that.
I'm joined now by County Council representative Andrew. So Andrew, you just heard from a local resident on their concerns around the coastal erosion in the area. What has been done to...
So we understand these concerns, and we're working together with OPW to provide better coastal defence. So we have measures in place like the sand dunes, seawalls, rock armour, and these are all funded by the OPW. So that's a great help for us. And for their concerns, we hold public consultations and we provide warnings, weather warnings, that sort of thing, and guidance on for what these people can do.
Right, thanks Andrew. I'm joined now by local resident Keith. Keith, this is our third storm of the season. How are these storms affecting Strandhill?
Well, with each storm, each year the storms are getting worse and worse in Strandhill, and it's only a matter of time before it takes 2 months of the coastline away that we won't be able to get it back. After each storm, you can visually see the coast being taken away.
So the defence structures that we just heard about, are they not working here in Strandhill?
Well, in the places that they stand, they are working, but they're only moving it to another place where it is stronger, and it's just made it worse in some places.
Thanks, Keith. That's all here from Strandhill. Back to studio.
Welcome back to studio. I'm joined now by OPW representative Seema. So Seema, who are the OPW and what do they do for coastal defence?
Thank you for having me. So the Office of Public Works is the main Irish state agency that manages flood risk and coastal changes. The OPW develops national policies, coordinates monitoring, gives technical guidance and funding for coastal protection projects where the local authority will carry them out. So in practical terms, the OPW runs coastal monitoring programs, which provide advice on coastal risk assessments, and works with the local authority to deliver protection projects that addresses the coastal erosion and flood risk.
And what monitoring is in place?
So the organization has been running coastal monitoring programs called the Pilot Coastal Monitoring Survey Program, so in short, CMSP. This is designed to track the changes happening alongside the shorelines using different types of monitoring. Surveys such as the aerial photography, bathymetric surveys, which measure the underwater depth, and light detection and ranging technology that uses laser pulses to create a detailed 3D maps of the coastlines, which help detect any small changes over a period of time.
And what funding is available to our county councils?
So the OPW's minor work stream is like the local authorities can apply for funding for small coastal protection projects or flood relief projects with costs up to 750,000 euros. The organization also may cover up to 90% of the expenses if the proposed projects meet the specific technical, social, and environmental standards. So this is because the local authority is mainly responsible for their own works and projects. So the OPW can just co-fund the projects that will reduce flood risk to like nearby properties, as long as the projects do not negatively impact any other nearby areas.
Okay, thanks for that, Seema.
Thank you so much.
I'm here now with engineer Cormac, who's familiar with the defence structures in Strandhill. So Cormac, why was the current coastal defence structures chosen?
So the current coastal defence infrastructure was chosen in the 1980s because it was cheap and easy to install. They're still relatively effective, but they're only really effective in the areas where they're installed. They work by breaking the impact of the waves to disperse the energy, but this just puts it somewhere else. So you'll see on Strandhill, the areas by the cannon where the rock armour is in place and by the wastewater treatment plant are protected, but the areas surrounding that are facing heavy erosion.
So what maintenance is required for these structures?
So because of how they work, they're right on the edge of the sea and they're taking the full impact of the waves. So that means that they take a lot of damage over time, and the damaged rocks will need to be taken out and replaced, or their effectiveness could lose their effectiveness. Another issue is that it is genuinely only effective where it is in place, which can lead to greater issues surrounding it, which can affect the structure of it.
So what nature-based solutions are there?
So the key to nature-based solutions in Ireland is to repair and restore the current habitats that would have naturally protected the coast. So in the case of Strandhill, it's quite famous for its dunes. So repairing the dunes so that they're able to withstand the force from the sea is essential to the nature-based solutions. This can be done in a variety of ways, like planting marram grass, which works by trapping the sand and allowing dunes to form and strengthen. Or it can be done by soft engineering ways, such as putting fences in, which do the same thing but are easier to install.
And what cost will this be for county councils?
So the cost to put rock armour up the entire length of the beach is about €5 million. And that's not factoring in the cost of having access to the beach, which should be more, or repairing the existing rock armour, which would bring the total to about 6 million, which is a lot. But when you take into account that the predicted cost of the damages that'll occur when nothing is done is over 10 million, I think it's worth it. And nature-based solutions would bring the cost down a bit, but there would be a worry that they wouldn't be as effective in periods of high energy, like storms. They can be damaged more easily and they're harder to repair. So I think it is important that something is done. I think it's up to the county council to decide what.
Okay, thanks, Cormac. So I'm back with Andrew from the County Council. I understand a report was done in 2023. What was the findings of these reports?
So the coastal erosion study in 2023 looked at how the coastline has changed over time. The study showed the part of Strandhill will retreat by up to 94 metres in the next 100 years if nothing is done. It also highlights the risks to the camping park, the local surf areas, and even part to the SAC. So based on this, we're planning new sort of rock armor defences, better maintenance of the current structures, and working with nature through the dune restoration. The study gives us a clear data guide to decisions and to protect the community against long-term coastline damage.
Okay, thanks for that, Andrew. As Strandhill residents continue to pick up the pieces from the latest storm, many say they fear what the next one will bring. The Sligo County Council has promised to review coastal protection measures, but for locals living meters from the Atlantic, time feels like it's running out. For now, they are left hoping that stronger defences and stronger action will come before the sea claims any more of their community. That's all for tonight.